All right, welcome to Frontline, 6 o'clock here on the East Coast. We begin with some big news from the president of peace, Ukraine, signing on to the core points of the White House peace deal. President Trump thinks we're close.
I think we're getting very close to a deal. We'll find out.
We will, and this four-year nightmare might be finally coming to an end. Also, President Trump today taking part in the annual turkey pardoning at the White House and breaking the news about Biden's turkey pardons last year.
He used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid.
And if you're hoping for another 4 years of MAGA, you may be in luck. Actually, 8 years probably. Early polling has Vice President J.D. Vance well out in front of the 2028 GOP field in New Hampshire with 57% support. Marco Rubio is in second place with only 9%. And if you don't think Dems are in trouble, Pete Buttigieg and Gavin Newsom are like way out in front on their own side. Good luck, guys. But first, fake news earning its name once again on Trump's economy. Let's do this. All right, so the Ronald Reagan philosophy, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? In today's case, 1 year ago. And the answer is, unless you're an illegal immigrant or a Venezuelan drug dealer that had your boat blown up or an Antifa member, it should be definitively yes, but not if you watch CNN, once again earning their coveted title of fake news.
I mean, just your costs are up versus a year ago. Groceries, 85%. Utilities, 78%. Healthcare, 67%. Housing, 66%. Gasoline, 54%. The bottom line is this. Americans feel like prices are rising in each and every single part of their lives, rising, ever climber, and they just don't feel like, Kate Baldwin, that they can catch a break.
None of that is true. Comically untrue, in fact. It's not like we can't verify this stuff either, guys. Trump laid this out today.
This Thanksgiving, we're also making incredible strides to make America affordable again. Walmart announced that the cost of their standard Thanksgiving meal is 25% lower than just 1 year ago. That's a big deal. According to the USDA, the price of Thanksgiving turkey is down 33% from its Biden-era highs.
Inflation also coming in lower than expected today, despite the Chicken Little sky is falling from all the Democrats on Trump's tariffs. So let's have a little fun with this, okay? We'll do them one by one. And since Thanksgiving is in 2 days, we'll do groceries first. This one is wildly false. From the same people who sat silently while food prices just exploded under Joe Biden are now saying that food prices over the last year have gone up 85%. Yeah, whatever you're smoking is definitely illegal. I actually looked, and I have no idea, even with like the most crazy extremes I could get, like I couldn't even get anywhere close to that number. In fact, according to the Farm Bureau, costs are down, like Trump said. They're showing a 5% decrease in the cost of Thanksgiving dinner. And for the people who are going to scream, that's not a legit source, someone actually went to the store and bought the exact same thing on the exact same receipt from last year. And
last year's Thanksgiving dinner, according to the American Farm Bureau, was $45.55 for all their items. And this year, for those exact same items, it came out to $37 even.
Receipts, literally. But where were all these people for the last 4 years? In fact, you remember how the Biden White House spun this at one point. Oh, the cost of 4th of July is down 16 cents from last year. Yeah, first off, 16 cents, thanks. But it was up like 30% before that. And just one more quick to show you that they don't care. Remember when Biden had it was close to 100 million chickens executed on his way out the door because they might have bird flu? I know you're probably asking the same question that I always do, which is, why does bird flu seemingly only affect the birds that we eat and the birds that produce eggs that we also eat, but not like Canadian geese? Anyway, I digress. Eggs under Biden and into Trump's first two terms, they skyrocketed, no doubt, to over $6 a dozen. And the second Trump was inaugurated, it was like nonstop this.
Because grocery prices aren't going down, they're going up under this administration.
You promised you would bring down the costs on day one. And bro, It's like day 50.
Well, he promised to bring the egg prices back down.
Yeah, egg prices are up 53% in the past year and are expected to rise another 41% this year.
Lord. This is why Joe Biden and
didn't Donald Trump
Kamala
say
was unpopular and why Kamala Harris lost.
I thought Trump's
egg prices. The eggs are too damn high.
Those people are so smug. But then this weird thing happened. Trump made a couple trade deals with places like Turkey, and all of a sudden, they came back down to the lowest in like a while. So CNN, I have no idea where you're getting that food number. Let's do utilities. This is actually a really good one. For the policy illiterate people out there like Mika and Joe, utilities are, for the most part, a state-run industry. And would you look at that? The states with the highest electricity costs seem to be California, New York, my home state of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Hawaii, all of the above, way above the national average. Now, Alaska is on there, too, due to its very rural and, hard to do delivery costs up there because you got to run wires forever. But outside of Alaska, I'm trying to put my finger on the similarity between all those. They all have. Oh, right. Yes, they're all run by Democrats. New Hampshire actually is the only exception with Republican leadership. But on energy, they have adopted very liberal green energy policies. So those numbers ain't high because of Trump. He's actually brought those costs down for a lot of people, like gasoline, too. That was mentioned.
Just your costs are up versus a year ago. Gasoline, 54%. The bottom line is this. Americans feel like prices are rising.
Again, where are you getting that data? A simple Google search would have found. I use DuckDuckGo because I don't like Google. But according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, which, by the way, was run by the current administration, Biden at the time, Trump at the time, those numbers, 2021, $3.01. 22, $3.95. 2023, $3.52. 24, $3.30. And now, to date, $3.10. Lower than Biden's last 3 years. Where is this guy getting 54% increase? Come on, homie. Healthcare, too. This is another good one. Again, this is so verifiable. And I look at this, I'm like, who do you think? I guess the CNN viewers just don't bother to do their own research. I know you guys at home do, but prices are about to make a major jump. I told you about this the other night, but not for anything Trump did. It's because Democrats, when they passed Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, they made the tax credits expire. But that hasn't happened yet. It will happen very shortly. But the reason for the increases now and thus far, one, because illegal immigrants have been swarming our ERs and not paying their bills, and states and hospitals are forced to absorb that and charge everyone else more money to cover, and sometimes our tax dollars subsidize it too. So we're also paying for that. So sweet. Two, because America is more unhealthy than ever, with our life expectancy actually declining this year for the first time in a while, because we're overweight, overvaxxed, and largely sedentary more than ever before in history, actually. And three, turns out when the government throws money at something, it always gets more expensive. Also, a Democrat thing under, again, the Affordable Care Act that ain't not so affordable. Okay, let's do housing. This actually is a really good one. You know what would make housing less expensive? Not importing 20 million illegal immigrants and giving them more rent subsidies than the average resident was paying in places like, I don't know, pick one, Ohio. Also, you know what the top 5 states cost-wise to build in? Outside, again, Alaska, because you have to basically import everything to the frozen tundra. But the other 4 states, Hawaii was number 1. You also have to import stuff there, but they fall in with the other 3, which is Massachusetts, New Jersey, and California. Again, Democrat-run states because of permitting, regulations, minimum wage requirements, and labor agreements. California is the perfect example for this. This guy's going to run for president on this record, too. Take the Palisades, okay? Tens of thousands of homes were basically cooked in that fire at the beginning of the year. And I think they might be 6 or 8 homes have actually been fully completed. And those have been at great personal cost, some with some political connections, too. Here's another big one. Interest rates staying as high as they were for as long as they were, thanks to Jerome Powell. He basically created a stagnant market. Nobody was buying or selling. And Democrat incentives. I guess you could in the last 8 months or so, pin a little bit of this on Trump for his deportation efforts, because he's literally just reduced, like, entire construction sites are empty because he's reduced the labor force of illegal immigrants in construction fields. But I think this is probably a net positive because they shouldn't have been here in the first place and they were costing us money elsewhere. But also that my generation, and this is like something that really is deeply personal to me and it hurts my soul, that my generation and even younger basically don't know how to build stuff anymore and not getting into the trades as much as the boomers did. What are you gonna do? Overall, I have no idea where CNN came up with these numbers. I looked and I looked really hard for this stuff. Even if I took the highest price in the most expensive states this year and compared it to the lowest prices in the least expensive states last year, I still couldn't even get even close to the numbers that they were talking about on that. So my conclusion is CNN just makes stuff up because I hate Trump. Grant Cardone is the CEO of Cardone Capital. Grant, you know, this is like really like, but you have hundreds of thousands of people that believe this stuff.
Millions, tens of millions. They want to believe it. They want to blame their problems on someone. And look, Trump is going to, and I'm very much in the camp of Trump. I helped him get elected. I talked to some of those people there. You're going to be hearing about the affordable agenda in this country. Mm-hmm. There is a plan to get rid of Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell has created more inflation in this country than any other human being that has ever existed. Mm-hmm. Through interest rates. That's kept housing prices up. Mm-hmm. Gas prices are down. Egg prices are down. Your turkey this year is down. Period. Rents are down nationwide, by the way. I own real estate across the country, a large real estate company. Rents, I can tell you, we're bringing them down everywhere, particularly in the blue side. Except for the blue cities, mm-hmm. the heavily Democratic cities, because of the increased regulations, you can't bring rent down because they have rent control. And for those of you that are rent, you think rent control is your friend. It's not your friend.
Right. And then they're subsidizing it with our tax dollars.
Hang on, Carl. It's an invitation to a Diddy party, but it's not your friend. I'm just saying.
That is with 1,000 bottles of lube, too. That's just
it's inverted, bro. It's inverted when they tell you, we're going to do something for you. That's code for this. That's what they're going to do for you.
Yeah, it's bad. It's been really bad. But, you know, on the side, the flip side of this, and just this is devil's advocate, I don't agree with this guy whatsoever, but he's some chief marketing strategist at Creative Planning, Charlie Bilabello or whatever his name is. He thinks we should be raising interest rates right now. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah, totally insane.
Totally insane. How does he get there?
You know, this is the same person that probably was against tariffs. Right. Do you guys understand that higher interest rates and higher taxes are internal tariffs on the American people? Mm-hmm. So for those people that don't want tariffs on Europe, or you don't want tariffs on Japan, or you don't want tariffs on Taiwan, but you want your own people tariff, that's a tax.
Right.
Lower taxes, lower interest rates. America should have the lowest interest rates on the planet.
Right.
And there's 15 countries right now that have lower rates than we do by half. Japan just raised, and they're half of what we are.
Yeah.
How do we have the best paper on the planet, the best military, the greatest consumer nation in the world, but we have the higher interest rates?
You know what's interesting, Grant, is you mentioned tariffs as a big thing. Nobody's talking about the amount of the hundreds of billions of dollars they're bringing into the system. Okay, but on top of that, like, look, I have a farm. I wanted to go buy another piece of equipment the other day, and they were like, oh, you can buy a pre-tariff machine here or a post-tariff machine here. And the post-tariff machine was only a 2% increase. So when they're like, oh, 20% tariffs and stuff like that, it's going to crush it. Like, yeah, I'd rather not pay 2% on a thing. But, like, honestly, I'm getting banged up in Connecticut at like 7 or 8% for just state consumption tax or state income, not income taxes, but sales tax. I mean, so, like, who's the real villain there? Trump for giving me 2% or Connecticut for hitting me for 7%?
Bang, bang.
Yeah.
And you live there. By the way, you live there, you contribute there, you're funding there, and they're still banging you. Yeah. And without you having the farm and having employees. Now, the beautiful thing on that piece of equipment, how much was that going to be, Carl?
About 60 grand.
Oh, 60 grand. It's 100% tax deductible this year because of Trump.
Hey, what about next year? Because I may...
No, bang it this year. Bang it this year, dude.
Okay.
Get it all this year. Trust
right.
me on this. Okay? I'm a man that knows how to get my tax bill to zero. And
All
I'm
right.
proud of that.
All right. This is good to know, and I will heed your advice on that. Grant Cardone, pleasure, my man. We appreciate it as always. All right. I'm going to tell my wife that now I have to go buy that excavator. All right, coming up, Zorhan Mamdani is rounding out his transition team, and wait until you hear who he has leading up the charge on community safety. That's coming up later in the show. But first, coming up, the organization in charge of the World's Strongest Woman competition walking back the first place title winner who turns out to be a man pretending to be a woman. We got that in our Culture Clash next.
Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country.
Before Charlie Kirk died, he issued a stark warning of terrifying dangers ahead in a new book, Pagan Threat, authored by Pastor Lucas Miles. Charlie said Pagan Threat could save America and that you must read it. Get Pagan Threat free with Newsmax's special offer. Plus, get Dick Morse's new book, The Real Charlie Kirk. 2 great books with our free offer today.
My name is Deanna Perrazzo, and I'm a professional wrestler. I want to use my spotlight to help T2T because my husband was a combat veteran. Helping vets is so important because they're often the most disregarded people in our society. And so to be able to say, like, we see you, we see the sacrifice, we see the struggle you go through to support us in our scariest moments, that deserves to be celebrated, that deserves to be honored. Please help by donating $11 a month at T2T.org. Let us do good.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. Please make a great gift. It's Trump time.
A mesothelioma diagnosis is overwhelming, but you don't have to go through it alone. Our firm is exclusively dedicated to only serving mesothelioma victims and their families. With decades of success, our team of nurses and attorneys will fight for the compensation and care you deserve. We'll even come to you. This is our MesoCare promise. Call us now so you can focus on what matters most.
Call now and we'll come to you for a free consultation. Call 800-600-3850 or go to mesobook.com.
I don't know. It's like the trans community. Forgot that Trump signed an executive order to keep men out of women's sports. Let me introduce you to Jamie Booker, a man pretending to be a woman. He won the title of World's Strongest Woman at a competition in Texas over the weekend. The runner-up, an actual woman, Andrea Thompson, who was visibly upset and had every right to be after the awards ceremony, just walked off as they're awarding this man in first place. The man even laughed at her. This dude is posting up with his undeserved trophy. It's just so unbelievable. Anyway, GoFundMe for himself to go to this competition. He raised a whopping $1,500. And after all the backlash online, the official Strongman Games has come out with a statement saying that they had no idea this guy was, They wrote, quote, "We are clear competitors can only compete in the category for the biological sex recorded at birth. We have disqualified the athlete in question from the official Strongman World Championships 2025. All athletes' point and places will be altered accordingly to ensure that the rightful places are allocated to each of the women's open athletes." Well, at least they made it right, but they stole her time on the podium that she deserved to be in first place, not second to a man. Kay Smythe, writer at Wandering Wolf Productions, and Tony Katz, host of the nationally syndicated and oddly named Tony Katz Today. Kay, I looked at some of these numbers too. I'm an amateur strongman guy, very amateur. I've competed regionally, and I don't even make the podium in these things. But I could walk on and move every bit of weight in the women's thing unequivocally, with no question, easily first place.
Diddy Stones. So I love how humble you're being. Very sweet, very kind. You are definitely a strong man, Carl. And yeah, no, I think that most, maybe not teenage boys, but there are certainly very young men who don't even train for this kind of thing could probably outrank a lot of the women because we're not built the same. I think it's fantastic that the official competition people finally figured out what was going on. I do agree. It's so sad. Ugh, gross. That's a gross picture. Sorry, I just saw it out the corner. Oh, just every time you get me with the gross pictures on this show. I swear to goodness.
Oh, you mean the man dressed as a woman?
Yeah, the man dressed as a woman who doesn't even like look strong, just looks beefy and gross.
Anyway.
I think that this sets a great precedent, though. I want to end on a high note.
Yeah.
I think this sets a great precedent. All men with mental illness who think that they're women,
Right.
You're not women, you don't belong in our spaces, get out of them, or you're going to be embarrassed on the public stage. And I
Exactly.
hope this happens every single place that like this kind of travesty occurs from here on out. Hopefully
It does.
not that many.
And here's the other problem. Guys committing crimes against women, like the dude who lit a woman on fire on a train in Chicago last week. You know, Lawrence Reed, the man who was arrested 72 times prior to this, Tony, the judge, Teresa Molina Gonzalez, one of the judges who let this man out 72 times. Here's that judge back in 2021 admitting that skin color influences her rulings. Roll this.
You know, being Latina in the office, people would tell me, like, don't you feel like you're prosecuting your own people? But it's true. There were a lot of, defendants that look like me. However, I had a chance as a prosecutor to make a difference as to what cases come in. I had a chance as a prosecutor to decide what offers were appropriate. And so I always offer them the opportunity to do community service.
That is literally an empty auditorium not listening to her.
Yeah, it reminds you of the line that justice is blind, right? That's the objective. That's the goal. That justice is blind, and we deal with the case that's in front of us. And what this judge has said is, oh my gosh, justice is not only blind, justice is looking for specific colors so it can give out a different level of justice, maybe a more valued level of justice. In the case of this man pretending to be a woman, we're not supposed to be blind, and yet we are. Never mind that the organization made it right. Oh, to hell with them. Everybody there knew it was wrong, and they all decided to act dumb, play dumb, be dumb, and go along with it. Until we say enough is enough, and nobody participates in those kinds of events, and until the lawmakers of Illinois, the absolutely pathetic neighbor to my west, Illinois, changes and says we don't allow these things to happen, we don't allow judges like this to be on the bench anywhere, you're going to continue to get the wrong perversion of what blindness is supposed to be.
Okay, listen to what Trump had to say about these criminals in Chicago. Roll this.
The woman with the burning, they burned the woman. To be talking about that now, they burned this beautiful woman riding in a train. A man was arrested 72 times. 72 times, think of that. And they'll let him out again. We have a governor that thinks it's wonderful that only like 7 people were killed this week. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob.
Okay.
So, okay, I was not expecting that at the end.
Never are with Trump.
No, you never expect that. That's why he's great. But no, first things first, bring back 3-strike. It's that simple. Like, that was one of, there was so many criticisms of the 3-strike rule. I think I even learned about it when I was
From
at
criminals,
university.
by the way.
Yeah, from criminals, from literal criminals, like people who've killed other people, people who've literally killed other people. They were like, oh, 3-strike was really mean. Dude, you literally ended someone's life. We need to bring back 3-strike. We need to crank all those felonies that were pushed down to misdemeanors, crank them all back up, not just in Illinois, but in California and every other blue state that has done something this stupid that creates more
Kay, real
victims.
quick, we're just
and it's
looking
not just...
at it. Real quick, Kay, we're looking at a live shot of Trump boarding Air Force One with First Lady Melania. Jetting off. The guy never stops. Anyway, we got to leave it right there.
Stop. Oh, I love her hair.
Kay Smythe, Tony Katz, we appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Carl.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You as well.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, coming up, the seditious 6 may be in a little bit more trouble than they anticipated, and now the FBI may be involved. How much legal trouble could they be in? We're going to speak to a JAG officer next.
Hi, folks. I'd like to tell you about YRefi. Did you know that as an accredited investor, when you invest in YRefi, your interest rate is fixed? And did you know that you can invest from 1 to 5 years and you can spread your investment over those terms to best suit your needs? And you have the freedom to take your monthly interest income or reinvest it, whatever you choose. When you invest in YRefi, your interest is calculated daily, you're paid monthly, and should you need your money back early, there is a liquidity feature. Would you like more information? All you have to do is call 877-80-INVEST. That's 877-80-INVEST, or log on to investyrrefi.com. That's investyrrefi.com for complete details. And make sure you review the private placement memorandum and scan this QR code to view the disclosure at your leisure. YRefi, investing in America's future.
The sweet sound of Monday morning. Somehow you're both wired and wiped out at the same time. Meet Super Calm from Nello, a simple mix to help support healthy cortisol levels and bring you back into balance. Super Calm from Nello.
They say America doesn't make things like they used to. We'll say that to Linda, or Maurice, or Jep, or Whitney. At Allegiance Flag Supply, we do things not because they're easy, but because they're right. Every stitch, every stripe, every star, made by Americans for the America you believe in. Visit showallegiance.com to order your high-quality American flag today. That's showallegiance.com.
There are only a few men I'd trust with my life. 2 of them built this wallet. I've known the guys behind Proof for nearly 20 years, and we've been through hell and back together. When they told me they were building the wallet, I just said, bill me now, I'm in. This isn't some fashion piece. This isn't just some trend. These wallets are a direct reflection of the kind of men who built it. It's built to last, built to function, and designed to carry everything you need and more. If anything happens to it, they'll take care of it. No questions, no fine print. If you knew the guys who created this wallet, you wouldn't carry anything else. Go check them out, because they built this thing right.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work, try to see a doctor this week, or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online and save $45. Your kit to treat dozens of common and serious illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code NEWS. That's urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code NEWS.
You got better things to do than clean out clogged gutters. Call Leaf Filter today and never clean out clogged gutters again.
Leaf Filter's technology keeps debris out of your gutters for good. Guaranteed. Call 833-LEAF-FILTER today or visit leaffilter.com.
I said something that was pretty simple and non-controversial, and that was that members of the military should follow the law. And in response to that, Donald Trump said I should be executed.
He actually didn't say that, but I mean, that was Senator Mark Kelly suggesting his call for service members to disobey the president's illegal orders, which he can't name a single illegal order, was completely innocent. Well, there's some big news in the case today of the seditious six. The FBI has reportedly contacted Capitol Police to schedule interviews for Kelly and the other 5 radical Democrats who publicly called for service members to disobey what they're saying illegal orders, but couldn't point to anyone. Should be interesting. The news coming the day after the Department of War said it was potentially considering recalling Kelly to active duty in order to have him face a potential court-martial. And breaking just before we came on air, Hegseth sent out a letter referring Mark Kelly to the Navy Secretary, asking for a brief of the Navy Secretary's review by no later than December 10th. Tim Parlatore, a criminal defense attorney and Navy reservist JAG. All right, Tim, this is an interesting one. I've intimately familiar with this because, you know, I've been through the UCMJ before myself for something that was completely bogus. Can you recall? First off, people are saying you can't recall him, but you can recall him. And what does he face if he is recalled?
So
any military retiree, by virtue of the fact that they still have an ID card and they're still getting paid by the department, they are contractually subject to the UCMJ for life. They can be called back and they can face court-martial charges even for things that they've done in retirement. So he's absolutely facing that. What is the maximum punishment here? They would have to go through, and I'm sure the prosecutors are going to figure this out pretty quickly, different types of things, not only under the UCMJ, but also some of the things that we've been talking about under Title 18, which then get incorporated into the UCMJ under Article 134. So he could be facing a whole slew of charges here.
But Tip, the other thing is, and congressmen and senators and politicians do this all the time. They hide behind the speech and debate clause. They will say the most outlandish stuff, like incriminate people for things they didn't even do. And then they'll, it was a speech and debate clause. What are the protections of the congressional speech and debate clause versus under the UCMJ, what they can do?
So it's something there's not a lot of case law on, obviously, because sitting senators don't usually get court-martialed. However, the case law in the district courts on speech and debate, it's not unlimited. It has to be related to some legislative function. And so if you're doing a video outside of that, maybe it counts, maybe it doesn't. But even there, speech and debate is normally invoked to immunize against lawsuits for defamation. And criminal conduct, if you are encouraging seditious conduct, you are under the statute at play here, you are trying to encourage members of the military to disobey lawful orders, that would fall outside of the speech and debate clause immunity. So I don't think that's going to help them out.
So beyond the legal realm here, this was the same thing as Democrats just excoriated John McCain as the worst human ever for his entire presidential run. And then when he gave the thumbs down to, not throw out Obamacare, Republicans were like, yeah, this is the worst guy ever because now our health care insurance is going to be super high. And then on both sides, they're like, well, you can't criticize him because he's a veteran. And I'm like, dude, I've done way more stuff in my career, I'm talking combat stuff, than Mark Kelly ever did, okay? He boasts 34 combat ops. I've got hundreds, bro. But yet people on the left call me the worst names. I got actually Nazi about 4 minutes before this segment.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, veterans, we're human. And so, we need to be held, to a certain standard. And the reality is there are some veterans that have, good honorable service records like Mark Kelly. But, really, I look at it, that's something that makes this even worse. Because more so than the other members of that video, the other seditious six, the other 5 of them, he actually has served. He actually has done a bunch of things. He didn't spend 3 years as an analyst like Alyssa Slotkin, or spend the entire time just being a drilling reservist like Maggie Goodlander. He actually did all this stuff. He was a senior officer. He retired. He knows better.
Yeah. Well, that's actually, and to your point, I will give him credit for his service, which he did serve honorably while he was in. It's his problems now that I have a real problem with. The other thing is, we go through this, his appearance with Maddow last night. Kelly, he just came out holier than thou, saying it's his job to hold, he's doubling down on this. Roll this real quick.
I've been stressed by, things more important than Donald Trump trying to intimidate me into shutting my mouth and not doing my job. He didn't like what I said. I'm going to show up for work every day, support the Constitution, do my job, hold this administration accountable, hold this president accountable when he is out of line.
Support the Constitution, but he supported his wife when she wanted to ban AR-15s, and then he bought a bunch right before that law went into place.
Yeah, I mean, these politicians, they use that as a shield, whenever they're, trying to push their partisan agenda. They want it to seem like, I'm covered by the Constitution, or the other side's covered by the Constitution, if it's the other side talking.
Right.
The reality is, you look at exactly what's in that video, and he misstated the law.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have an obligation to disobey unlawful orders, manifestly unlawful.
Yeah.
Orders are presumed to be lawful. Yeah, it's ridiculous. You can't hide behind the Constitution.
And he also tweeted out earlier that he never swore an allegiance to the president. It's like when you take an oath, the orders of the president of the United States and the orders of those appointed over me. But what do I know? Tim Parlatore, we got to leave it there, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, another Turning Point USA chapter has been denied, and the school might surprise you. Details next.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
Tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
This isn't your average pill. This is Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks.
Rose Sparks is a fast-acting solution because it dissolves under your tongue.
Rose Sparks.
Guys, get started today.
Connect with a provider to find out if Rose Sparks are right for you.
Hey guys, Viagra is not your only option. Rose Sparks act fast and stay active longer. They aren't pills. Sparks dissolve under your tongue to reach your bloodstream for speedy results. Connect with a provider at ro.co/sparks.
This holiday, set the table with the best. From orchard-picked pears to curated gourmet gifts, Harry & David brings a legacy of flavor to every celebration. Make it a hand-picked holiday with Harry & David.
Hey, I'm Daniel, one of the founders of Ridge. My dad and I realized that most wallets are falling apart, stuffed to the max, and barely fit in your back pocket. So we set out to create something better. Ridge is built to last a lifetime and is the perfect balance of modern style and durability. Find yours at ridge.com.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. Please make a great gift. It's Trump time.
We are Create. We designed the gold standard creatine monohydrate gummy, which can support daily energy levels, boost mental clarity, and build and retain muscle. Learn more at trycreate.co.
Drop is finally here. Drop delivers the weight loss benefits of GLP-1 injections in easy-to-use oral drops, no needles.
That's right. The two big drawbacks with weight loss injections are high costs and weekly injections. Drop is flavorless and odorless, so you can just add it to water or your favorite beverage. Drop offers other advantages over injections too. With Drop, you can personalize your dosage based on your weight loss goals.
And because you add Drop to any liquid, there's no concern about injection site infections, bruising, or dosage confusion.
Drop is the easier, safer, cost-effective alternative to help you achieve your weight loss goals without the needles.
Can't find it anywhere? The Wellness Company has it. No consultation needed. Simply order online and use promo code SLIM to save $100. Visit dropthepounds.com/slim. That's promo code SLIM at dropthepounds.com/slim.
I guess woke college professors are really just protecting themselves at all costs. Point Loma Nazarene University 8, what I thought was a Christian university in San Diego, has denied the proposal of a Turning Point USA chapter by students for the third time. It turns out that the Student Council's board of directors had a problem with the professor watch list that would go into place, that it exposes radical leftist professors and documents them that target and try to identify and give conservative students a hard time. The university, though, made a statement saying, quote, their rationale focused on concerns related to the TPUSA's professor watch list. That practice is not aligned with the ASB's purpose of fostering constructive communication and interaction between students, faculty, and administration. Academia, I guess, just hates accountability. Bill DeAgostino, Senior Research Analyst at MRC, and Ian Haworth, TPUSA Speaker. Ian, this is, for lack of better terms, just really stupid.
Yeah, stupid, embarrassing, childish, everything we've come to expect from American academia at this point. You know, they can make every single excuse they want. This is all about keeping groups like TPUSA off college campuses. And I think it really shows the breadth of the problem too, because as you mentioned, this isn't necessarily a kind of college we would expect this to happen. This isn't just crazy left-wing colleges where everyone has purple hair and they're screaming about Gaza.
Right.
This is a problem of anti-conservative bias across American academia, whether it be public, private, left-wing, even Christian. And I think people really need to open their eyes to this issue. The conservatives are being squeezed off campus right now.
Yeah, no, it's shocking. And like, I like the idea of being able to report your teachers for being nut jobs and targeting you for your political opinions. But hey, that's just me. Speaking of crazy people, Ilhan Omar decided to make some statements about the importance of Somalians in the U.S. Roll this.
Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive. Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation. We are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American.
Less American? I mean, Bill, what they stand for is pretty un-American. I mean, what is the net add to society for people like Ilhan Omar? I mean, her district is the terror recruiting capital of the United States.
Well, there's a big one right there. I mean, they add terror recruiting. They add a decent amount of municipal fraud, as a bunch of reports have been turning out. Look, I completely believe her when she says Somalians have always seen themselves as the fabric of this nation, at least the community that she represents. But that doesn't make them the fabric of this nation, right? I mean, I suspect that there is not a single person in that crowd that she's addressing there who is going to, for example, celebrate Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday. There's a fun little litmus test for you. I mean,
Christmas.
She has basically made her entire political career a tool of ethno-narcissism, and then she turns around and says, "No, we're actually the real Americans." It's gobsmacking.
Yeah, well, a lot of the Somali community has been saying that America needs to assimilate to them, and I say, nah. Hard pass, homie.
No thanks.
Ian, remember when Ma'am Danny changed his stance on defunding the police? Watch this.
I've said that the tweets that I wrote in 2020 around defunding the police, that's not the position that I hold. And I'm running for mayor to deliver public safety in partnership with the police department.
Well, it turns out his new transition guy tapped for community safety, someone who has years of calling for defunding the police, calling them violence workers, and even writing in his book called The End of Policing. I mean, okay, birds, like, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
I mean, we've all been warning about Zohran Mamdani for months now, because if you just listen to what he said for the last couple of years, he only became an American citizen in 2018, and in 2020 he was flipping off statues of Christopher Columbus, and now we're supposed to believe that he's just a proud American citizen who wants to protect New Yorkers. I'm sorry. He obviously changed his stripes for about 5 seconds during the election, and just enough white liberal women in Brooklyn believed him, and now he's going back to exactly who he is, which is a communist and an Islamist, and New York is going to get what it voted for, unfortunately. It's just terrible to see such a wonderful city commit electoral suicide, essentially.
Yeah, well, they're going to learn it the hard way, I think. I mean, like, look, I have a carry permit, so I'm less concerned about my own safety. But, Bill, speaking of libs and healthcare costs and everything they destroyed, Canada, they really screwed this one up. They had 500,000 people documented, estimated over 1 million people that just walked out of the ER without treatment because they were waiting too long, because turns out you can't have good, fast, and cheap healthcare all at the same time.
Right, and that's the trifecta that you just highlighted there, right? You basically get to pick two. Honestly, though, with everything that we know about Canadian healthcare, I would consider those 500,000 lucky that the state didn't try to recommend them state-assisted suicide, because we've been hearing a lot about that recently, right?
That's a remedy now.
Hey, congrats about actually walking out of there, I guess. Sorry you walked out into Canada, but is what it is.
Yeah, no. And look, I have some good friends who have fled from Canada to come here. Some of my best friends recently became citizens here because they were like, screw you guys, I can't take this stuff anymore. So
God bless them.
Yeah, exactly. Look, if you're coming here to live the American dream, we welcome you in. Leave your Canadian geese at the border. We don't want them. All right. Bill, Ian, we appreciate it very much. All right, coming up, the DOJ files a petition with the Supreme Court that has gun owners like me super pumped. Got 2A Tuesday next.
You okay in there? Consumer Cellular knows there are a lot of offers flying around, but they slip away too fast. We don't play games. What you see is what you get. No hot air, just plans starting at $20. Bet you're glad you wore cargo pants. Because cargo pants have all those pockets. You can see how we can cut your bill. Plans start at just $20. Call Consumer Cellular.
Posture matters, and Tommy Copper has the bra for you. Relieve neck and shoulder pain, improve your posture. Look and feel your best every day with back support built right into your bra. The best-selling shoulder support bra from Tommy Copper is the upgrade you need. Comfortable, supportive, designed to help you carry confident posture when it matters most.
Why would I wear any other bra?
Go to TommyCopper.com and save 50%. Upgrade your bra today.
What kind of gift can $29 get you these days? It could send someone overseas. Drop them in their ancestral village and give them a taste of their heritage. From mom's side and dad's side. It can open a whole new world of faraway places and fascinating people that make them who they are today. That's a big gift for a small price.
Joining us is Dr. Drew from the Wellness Company with advice for dealing with seasonal colds and flu. Doctor?
Cold and flu season is here, and every year you or a loved one gets sick. Your doctor can't see you. Waiting in a crowded urgent care is brutal. This is a particularly bad cold and flu season, and it's why doctors suggest every family needs an emergency medical kit. Your medical emergency kit is filled with essential prescriptions. It includes antibiotics like generic Z-Pak to get well faster, amoxicillin for pneumonia, strep throat, ear infections, plus prescriptions for nausea and UTIs, and even ivermectin. It's easy. Just match your symptoms to the prescription in your guidebook or call the telemedicine doctor standing by. Take your medication early and feel better faster. Having a medical emergency kit is like having an urgent care in your home. No waiting to see a doctor, no lines at the pharmacy.
Smart advice. We've shared the website and discount code below to save viewers $45. Order now and your kit will be rushed to your door. Thank you, doctor.
This November, the best teams in college basketball take the stage in Vegas for the Geico Players Era Championship. Over 4 days, the brightest stars and coaches in the country collide.
He's got it! Oh my! You dream of moments like that.
Geico Players Era Championship begins today on TNT, True TV, and stream on HBO Max.
All right, to a Tuesday, let's do some gun stuff. All right, the Justice Department yesterday filing a brief. Look, the Justice Department, this is a big step for them because I'm really happy about that. A brief with the Supreme Court challenging a Hawaii state law that effectively bans public carry in like all these crazy places. States like California, Maryland, New York has this problem too with the SAFE Act, New Jersey, all similar laws. Hawaii's law bans the carrying of firearms on private property open to the public unless those establishments just provide unambiguous written or verbal authorization for you to, clear, and it's got to be posted everywhere. So they have to make an effort to let you know, basically. And it's going to be interesting. The DOJ arguing Hawaii's restriction is blatantly unconstitutional as applied to private property open to the public. History does establish that firearm regulations are per se unconstitutional if they are designed to thwart the right to publicly carry arms or if they effectively negate that. Attorney General Pam Bondi writing, quote, "As I said soon after taking the office, the Second Amendment is not a second-class right." Yes, this is something, Pam, I am wholeheartedly behind you on this. Cam Edwards, host of Bearing Arms and Cam and Company podcast. AWR Hawkins is a Second Amendment columnist with Breitbart News. All right, Cam, I've been dealing with this because without being law enforcement, I can't carry my gun in Times Square, on a train, in public transportation. Basically, I can't bring my gun into the city unless it's in a lockbox.
Yeah, even though the Supreme Court said in Bruin, New York City could not make the island of Manhattan a gun-free zone just because it's crowded and, police are around to protect people. In Hawaii, this default ban on carry does restrict, again, those with concealed carry permits from carrying almost everywhere. And it flips the script, right? There are only 5 states, as you mentioned, where this is the law. In every other state, concealed carry is allowed. And if a property owner wants to forbid it, then they post signage to that effect that you can't carry here.
Right.
But otherwise, the expectation is, yes, you get to exercise this fundamental civil right unless a property owner says no. So it's great that the DOJ is getting involved here. The DOJ has actually also requested to participate in oral arguments in this case in January. So that's another huge step, an historic step for the Department of Justice in standing up for our right to keep and bear arms.
Yeah, but AWR, the other thing with this is you have people like Eric Swalwell who wants people to vote by mail. Vote by phone, which is ridiculous. But yet They want background checks and all these crazy restrictions for an equally protected right in 2A.
Right. Well, I think that's why it's important, as you read, Carl, that Pam says that Attorney General Bondi says the Second Amendment is not a second-class right. And I wrote today at Breitbart, you've got 27 states who are also joining. They put in an amicus brief here, led by Attorney General Austin Knudsen in Montana. You've got 27 states that are asking SCOTUS, please strike down this carry ban in Hawaii.
Yeah, well, strike it down, honestly, everywhere, because if you can't carry in one place that happens to be on your list of places you go, like for me in the city, I have a permit in Connecticut and I have a permit in Manhattan, which is very hard to get, but I can't carry on the train between the two because of their stupid law. Anyway, there is a currently House resolution going around Congress. H.R. 38 that would ensure that there's a concealed carry permit would be honored in every state across the nation. Reciprocity. Look, you can drive in every state if you have a license from anywhere in America, and that's not even in the Constitution. There's all these types of insurances and permits and laws and rules that apply everywhere in the nation except for ones that are in the Bill of Rights. Why is this the case?
Because we do treat the Second Amendment like a second-class right, unfortunately. H.R. 38, that would go a long way towards treating it as the fundamental civil right that it is. You know, and again, Carl, you know, you talked about law enforcement earlier. We already have the Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act, which is essentially national reciprocity for law enforcement. They can carry in all 50 states. So why can't those of us who are law-abiding gun owners, who have a concealed carry license, or if we live in a permitless carry state, we can lawfully carry without a permit, why do our Second Amendment rights stop at the border of the state where we live? It makes no sense whatsoever.
But AWR, here's the other thing, too, which gets me about that. Nothing against law enforcement. I love more people. I love more people to safely carry their guns. However, why is it that a cop gets to get nationwide reciprocity when I was a Navy SEAL and I get butt kiss?
Right. Well, that's what happens when we start categorizing. When the Second Amendment only applies to this category or that category of people, that's what we get. And one other thing I just want to say on the side, I believe a concealed carry permit requirement is one of the most egregious gun controls in existence. And as soon as we adopted those, and you found out firsthand, Carl, once we adopt these concealed carry permits, and I can't carry unless I have one in whatever state, then I don't really have a right in that state anymore. And I might have a right in word, but not in deed. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then New York makes you put the gun that you want to carry on the back of the permit, and you got to go through the website that doesn't work, and it's all by design. These people just constantly do it every single time. Cam Edwards, AWR Hawkins, we appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Carl.
Folks, this is one right that is worth dying for, and you know what? A lot of people do. All right, before we go, the ills of social media. Bad for teens, but what about adults? Next.
The press won't report the real story.
The American people are actually very smart.
Ridiculous statements.
These guys are just plain weird.
Actual scandals.
Even the immunity decision. I mean, that decision was so misreported.
That's my job, and I aim to do it every night.
Hi, I'm Ben Cozy. Isn't holiday travel a pain in the neck? You're cramped, uncomfortable, and forget about getting any rest. There's nothing cozy about airplane seats or hard plastic benches, and those so-called travel pillows, they just don't cut it. You don't need another travel pillow. You need Be Cozy, the world's most comfortable neck pillow. Trapped in the middle seat? Wrap Be Cozy around your neck to stop chin drop, bobblehead napping. Smashed up against the window? Fold Be Cozy over and tuck it onto your shoulder for super side support. Frequent flyer miles got you sitting aisle? Turn Be Cozy to the side for the perfect pillow position. Hey, everyone wants to be cozy, so get the world's most comfortable travel neck pillow and be cozy like me, Ben Cozy. You get to be cozy. Everyone gets to be cozy. Only Be Cozy has patented overlapping arms so you get double support and the comfort you need in any seat on any trip. Go online right now and get this special holiday offer. Buy one Be Cozy, get one 50% off. So don't wait. Get yours now.
Hi, folks. I'd like to tell you about YRefi. Did you know that as an accredited investor, when you invest in YRefi, your interest rate is fixed? And did you know that you can invest from 1 to 5 years and you can spread your investment over those terms to best suit your needs? And you have the freedom to take your monthly interest income or reinvest it, whatever you choose. When you invest in YRefi, your interest is calculated daily, you're paid monthly, and should you need your money back early, there is a liquidity feature. Would you like more information? All you have to do It's called 877-80-INVEST. That's 877-80-INVEST. Or log on to investwhyrefi.com. That's investwhyrefi.com for complete details. And make sure you review the private placement memorandum and scan this QR code to view the disclosure at your leisure. YRefi, investing in America's future.
The sweet sound of Monday morning. Somehow you're both wired and wiped out at the same time. And that's your cortisol talking. Meet Super Calm from Nello, a mix you stir into water to help you reset, refocus, and actually finish that deep breath you've been trying to take all day. Formulated with simple ingredients like ashwagandha, L-theanine, magnesium glycinate, and vitamin D3, Super Calm helps you make the daily chaos a little easier. Super Calm from Nello.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
Tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. These make a great gift. It's Trump time.
I mean, we're all guilty of it. We wake up at whatever time and we just doom scroll on a never-ending timeline, checking Instagram or X or even Facebook. I don't even do Facebook anymore. We all know how detrimental social media can be to a teen's mind, though. But now a massive study from Griffin University in Australia has analyzed 71 surveys of more than 98,000 test subjects, a lot, and how short-term social media videos is wreaking havoc on our attention spans. Oh boy, this is bad news for me. According to one report, a 46-year-old former high school history teacher says he read hundreds of books to obtain 2 degrees, struggled to read a book constantly, and saying he's unable to watch a movie without picking up his phone to scroll. Renowned psychologist Jonathan Haidt commenting on the study saying, "I used to think the main damage from social media was to the youth mental health. Now I believe the global destruction of the human ability to pay attention may even be larger." It's crazy what brain rot on social media is doing to our attention span. Luckily, I don't suffer for it. Rob, do you like pancakes?
What?
He was so ready to answer like a very serious question about social media.
I hate this thing.
Yeah.
My friend has a great line. He says, Steve Jobs ruined the world. And I think there's an accuracy to that. And we're all so much smarter with these, but at what cost?
Well, I tell you,
is this life?
Yeah, my kids
having all this crap at your face, is that a life?
Well, this is why we bought a farm, and we take my kids up there on the weekend. They don't even ask for these things because they're out doing kids things.
Yeah.
Like, dirt and chopping down trees and stuff like that.
It's not. That's not life. Burying your head in a phone for 80 years isn't a life. And that's what a lot of people
look like Quasimodo.
It's scary. No.
Word.
Carl, good to see you.
Pancakes.
Happy Thanksgiving. I do like pancakes.